Hey team, Scorpius here. We found that there was a leak in the cabinet space. As you can see, it's completely wet. Okay. I doubt that's where the leak was coming from though, and it's filling up the tank. So, I feel it though, it's somewhere in here. So I'll pull off your hot water or your water line here, run it directly to this. I'll remove this hose, because it's not necessary. This hose was actually only installed for your, the valve here was only installed for your water system, and it acts as an interrupter, and then this just comes from your line, or it actually runs to the faucet. So if I just pull this one off, put it directly back to the water line, I don't have to worry about that. We can take this off. The only thing that I'll need to do on the drainage pipe, I wonder if I can find a cap for that instead of me doing that full process. Because on the drainage pipe, it shouldn't be full right now, so I'm gonna pull it off. If I could find a plastic fitting that caps that off right there. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so if I could find a plastic fitting that can cap that instead of cutting it out. Otherwise, it's caved in from the moisture. There you go. So we found that the leak comes from here, as you can see. So we're just going to remove the whole water filtration system, and then if there's a continuation of leakage, I found that this valve for the cold water here, or the hot water, it should be the cold, but long story short, this one, I don't know why they have the hot line connected to it, but this is cold water valve. So that was wet when I did the primary diagnostic. We're going to replace this system, check for leaks. If leaks don't occur, then we're good. If they do occur, then we're just going to replace this valve. I'll have to make another store run. But it's going to be straightforward. We're going to pull this filtration unit out. They don't use it, just bought the house, and that is that. All right, stay tuned. Let's see what we come up with. Okay, we just separated the cold water line. The SharkBite system there is not doing too good, so I didn't want to spend 20 minutes trying to get that hose out of that adapter. So I'm just going to bleed out the residual water from this tank and back into the sink, get that pressure out the line, and then we're going to take all these hoses out and whatnot, remove the system, and then work on the drainage hole, the adapter that keeps the line open. I attempted to buy a compression cap. That doesn't work on the threads, so I'm gonna have to pull that out. Some of these parts that I got, put it back on this line and seal it back off and clean up, call it a day. It's a little wet in here, but we're okay with it because this is what we do. It's getting there. Alright, regular screws, we can pull that off and then cut that pipe here at the seam a little bit off, and then I'll probably cut it actually on the hole itself, maybe just a little bit off to the side so I can cut that hole out. And then we'll put in our coupler and then slice it back in, stab it in. We're going to disconnect this so we can have easily adjusted processing, and then we'll get back to it. Look what I found. Look how dirty that water was. Okay, so that's empty. We're gonna pull this SharkBite off. Let's see if this one's bad. It's pretty good. All right, now we're gonna remove the hot water line. Supposedly it's on the right, and so US standard is hot on the left and cold on the right, but as you can see, the left is cold, but I don't know how they connect up there. You run into a lot of crazy stuff when you do these homes. Some of the guys are in a rush or just aren't paying attention and they swap lines on accident or just don't care. So the right one is hot, as you can see by identification, and the left one is considered to be cold, which I highly doubt. But, and plus, why would the hot water line run through the filtration system? We're going to get that out. We're going to replace those 3/8 fittings and then run it directly back to the cold water valve. Cutoff switch on it. Luckily, no water sprayed. That would have been a mess. These guys, 3/8. It's a standard fitting for kitchen and toiletries. This gasket in here removes the need to have to put on Teflon tape for these valves. So if you don't have to do it, you don't need to. Because it's a compression fitting, so the compression of the, what am I trying to say, of that gasket acts as a sealant, keeps it watertight, and this is not a one-hand job. So, welcome for the update. Stay tuned, and we'll finish this up. One way to identify where the leak is coming from is to see where the water stands up the most. I don't know if you can tell. There you go. It's kind of like seated a little off-center from the post. So we know the leak is on this side and not this side. That's not always the case though. But as we can see, I'm going to fill up the drain and show a little bit where this leak is coming from on the right side. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, but I did find something cool. Man, it's got a few years worth of goop. Alright, so we're just going to stab a coupler in and get this guy back connected due to that hole right there. We don't want the backflow to cause another leak. Okay, so we got everything prepped. I got the pipe back on. All we got to do is replace the P-trap collar situation. And from what it looks like, their basin collar is still not seated. I can't tell right now. Let me look. Is that a watertight seal to y'all? Not from what it looks like. I see water coming up from there. There shouldn't be any. So we'll check that when we come back. We should check it before we go. Outside of that, we're pretty good. I can tighten that collar up on there. Check that gasket. And then we'll get this guy replaced. And then we'll call it a day. Peace. Okay, since this collar branch piece here is copper, I'm just going to get a new one because I don't want to fight with having to pull it out, and they probably use some sort of pipe dope or whatnot. So I'll get this plus the insert, this copper insert. We'll find a match. And looks like it's pretty hard to co-locate. Mention in the comments if you think I missed it. That looks like it. That looks like it. Extension tube, slip joint for kitchen or lavatory can be used with existing brass system. Existing brass system. I thought it was copper. Now that I'm looking at it, it is brass. Oops. Alright, so we have our replacement, but we don't have... Yes, we do. Okay, so we can stab him in like so. He's got the T for the aerator running back up to release air out of that line, which goes here, which I cut off because, of course, it is bibbed with a hose bib. I forgot the name of it. Anyways, here we go. Alright, team, we got everything. We're just going to do a light replacement of the top half. That way we don't have to do all that stuff. Pretty clear. Ew. Nice. I'm going to take this guy. Like so. We're going to take this collar or nut here off. And we are going to throw him in. I see now. There we go. Stab him back on. And there you have it for that. Then we're going to get these and place them where they need to go. Alright, that's the two-hand job. That's how it's supposed to look when it's done, all the way up to the collar there. Which upon compression, it will be airtight and seated. Just like that. That looks great. Alright, team, as you can see, we got it in. There is a slight leak there, but I had that fixed. I forgot to tighten one of those fixtures down. But however, everything is in and looking good. I have the aerator back. As you can see, it's nice and neat. The pipes are joined perfectly. There are no leaks. And let me wipe that off real quick. There you go. And I am testing with sound and sight to verify that this thing is solid. And hey, we did a good job. I was a little rusty there looking for the parts, but however, please like and subscribe and join me for the next trip as we walk through our next plumbing escapade. Scorpius checking out.